Welcome to a play-by-play review. I'm your host, Henry, and it is a sad, sad time to be an Orioles fan at the moment, as Adley Rutschman was traded to the Boston Red Sox. Among other moves the Orioles did at the trade deadline, they also sent away Taylor Ward and Tyler Wells, and Dean Kramer a few days before that, but I'll go into the full trade deadline after I go through the schedule recap. But yeah, it is a sad time to be an Orioles fan. They did win today, but it still sucks. I'm very sad to see Adley Rutschman go, even if the return was actually really, really good. Like the Red Sox kind of overpaid for Adley. I don't really know why they gave up that much, but sure, they needed a catcher like really, really badly. So anyway, well, I will go very quickly, or at least try to, through the game recap so I can actually get to the trade deadline. I'll probably do, I don't know if I'll do stats before or after. I might wrap it up with the trades and do stats, like do schedule stats and then trades. I think I'll do that. Just to, build up anticipation for what happened, because it was a pretty eventful trade deadline. There were some big ones. But yeah, there's the big one with Tarek Skubal, but I'll get to that when I get to that. For now, though, speaking of Tarek Skubal, we go back to last Wednesday. The Orioles and the Tigers have played in Tarek Skubal's final start as a Detroit Tiger, and it was looking really good for a while. Tigers were up 7-0 going into the 7th inning. Tarek Skubal was absolutely dominating. The Tigers then blew it completely. They gave up 7 runs in the span of 2 innings in the 7th inning. They gave up 5 in the 7th alone, then 2 in the 8th inning to tie it up. Orioles nearly got the lead in the 8th as well. They had a runner on third with 1 out. But could not drive him home. That was Kobe Mayo on his first career triple. Got to third base on a 2-run triple, I believe. But anyway, this game eventually went to extras, went to 12 total innings, and the Orioles would eventually win over the Tigers 10-9 in an absolutely insane comeback. It was pretty crazy. So they would take the series there against Detroit, getting 3 games under 500 at that point. This series was very pivotal for both teams, it felt like, going into the trade deadline. After that, we move on to the incredibly red-hot Boston Red Sox. They would win 4-2 over the A's, winning Game 3 of what would be a 4-game series between those two teams. Actually, both their wins, first and third games, were 4-2 victories. Red Sox just absolutely destroying everybody right now. It's kind of crazy. They just demolished the White Sox today. I don't know what happened to the Red Sox, but they are on an absolute tear. They have been for like a month, pretty much. It's crazy. The Marlins, in the meantime, would win 8-6 over the Phillies. I believe this is actually a comeback victory as well. And they would actually sweep the Phillies after losing 12 in a row. They would come back and sweep the Phillies, oddly enough. So good on you, Miami. You do you. The Diamondbacks, in the meantime, would win 3-0 over the Pirates. This was the D-backs winning games 2 and 3 over Pittsburgh. So they would win the series there. Eduardo Rodriguez with 8 shutout innings, so he did not have a good game this time around earlier today. It was really bad, actually, but this one was really good. Got to 10-3 at that point. Blue Jays would win 5-2 over the Nationals. Trey Savage, who I believe actually just went down with an injury today as well. So this is a lot of the starters back on Wednesday now, starting today after various days of rest and stuff like that. But anyway, this was the Blue Jays winning games 1 and 3 over the Nationals. Savage exited. I actually don't know how many innings he pitched. Day to day at the moment, will go and undergo an MRI on his left knee. So unfortunate there for the Blue Jays. They got to 50 wins at that point as well, 50-59 after that one. In a doubleheader, the Mets would win game 1 over the Braves. Carson Benj with the tie-breaking RBI double in the 7th inning there. Huascar Brazaban with a win. He's actually since been traded from the Mets. So this was Mets winning 2 in a row against the Braves as well. So they would take the series there. The Giants would win 16-3 over the Brewers. Logan Webb got his 6th win of the season. He actually was not traded at the deadline, surprisingly enough. Luis Arraez with 4 hits, 17 total hits for the Giants. They would demolish the very, very good Milwaukee Brewers and actually take the series over Milwaukee as well, interestingly enough. In the meantime, The Padres would win 3-1 over their division rival Rockies. Griffin Canning with his second win of the season. Jackson Merrill and Luis Rengifo and Gavin Sheets with RBIs, the 3 RBIs in the game. This was a 2-game series, actually, between these two teams. Not really sure why, but it is. That's why it was. Maybe one of their games got postponed until later. They are division rivals, so they do play each other a good bit. But yeah, this was the Padres winning that 2-game series against Colorado there. So Padres actually on a bit of a roll as of late. They've been playing pretty well. But yeah, we'll get to the later games pretty soon. The Rays would win 3-0 over the Rangers. Brian Baker got his 29th save in that one. He's been continuing to be really good. So the Rays would win game 2 of that series, evening it up. Over Texas, Rays got to 63 wins as well. They're still, I believe, the best team in the American League. After that, we get to the Guardians winning 6-1 over the Reds in the Battle of Ohio. Not the Browns and Bengals battle, but the the Major League Baseball version of it. We'll see Browns and Bengals pretty soon. Actually have football on in about a day and a half or so. Hall of Fame game between the Panthers and Cardinals, I believe, is the game on Thursday. Carson Beck, I know, is getting the start for the Cardinals. Interestingly enough, I saw a very quick side tangent, but just because I found this interesting, is that I saw this on Twitter, I think, and it's Carson Beck has a chance to be probably the first player ever to throw the final pass in a college football season and then the first pass in the lead up NFL season, since he threw the game-losing interception, I believe, in the national championship game between Miami and Where did I get Notre Dame from? I guess they were playing the year before. Anyway, between Miami and Indiana, he was the Miami quarterback, and he's now been drafted in the 3rd round by Arizona to be their backup, I guess, to Jacoby Brissett. So we'll see. We'll see if he gets the football first, but that'll be interesting if that happens. Anyway, back to baseball. Guardians won 6-1 over the Reds, so they would win games 1 and 3 and the series over Cincinnati. In game 2 of the doubleheader between the Braves and the Mets, the Braves would win 1-0. Chris Sale with another win, his 12th of the season, and so the Braves would avoid the sweep there. 9 strikeouts for Chris Sale as well. Only 2 hits surrendered by Braves pitching in that game as a whole. And in the meantime, the Royals would win 4-0 over their division rival Twins, evening up the series at 1 apiece there. Twins actually very much in the hunt for a wild card spot at the moment. They had an interesting trade deadline. The White Sox would win 6-5 over the Yankees in 12 innings. Jordan Hicks actually got the win there for Chicago because he's on the White Sox now. But yeah, this was the White Sox evening up the series in the end. They would, never mind. They would eventually do that, but this was game 3 of 4. So they would, after losing the first 2, they would win this one. And spoilers, they would win the one on Thursday. They would win that there. The Cardinals would top their division rival Cubs 3-2 in 10 innings, so they would walk it off. Ivan Herrera with a game-winning 2-run double for St. Louis. So they would win game 3 of that 4-game series after losing the first 2 to Chicago. Cardinals kind of floundering a little bit here in the month of July. Well, now August, actually. But it's not been a great stretch for the Cardinals over the past couple weeks. It feels like. Actually curious exactly how good. Yeah, definitely not been good over the past couple of weeks now that I'm looking at it. Anyway, the Astros would win 7-4 over their division rival Angels, sweeping the series as well, winning all 3 games. Astros going on a bit of a run there. They've actually usurped both Texas and Seattle for the division lead. They've been having a great stretch over the past week and a half. And Houston is right back in it. Then finally, speaking of the Mariners, they would lose 4-2 to the Dodgers, who have pissed off everyone again at the trade deadline. This was the Dodgers evening up the series against Seattle. after 2 games. So they would win. They had lost game 1, won game 2 there, did LA. We go to Thursday. And again, going to try and speed through this. Not too many games this time around. Red Sox and the A's would wrap up their series with the Red Sox winning 5-4. They would take 3 of 4 in that series. Back-to-back home runs in the 8th inning there for the Red Sox as well. Sonny Gray, his 13th win of the season. Rays win 3-2 over the Rangers. Cedric Mullins with an 8th inning home run there for Tampa Bay. He's actually having a pretty nice season there for Tampa. They would take the series there against Texas, winning games 2 and 3. Twins would win 4-3 over the Royals. Cody Clemens with a walk-off grand slam for the Twins in this one. Pretty crazy right there. So they would take games 1 and 3 over Kansas City. White Sox win this one over the Yankees 2-1 in the 11th inning. Sir Anthony Dominguez, who has since been traded, he got the win there. It's actually a walk-off walk for the White Sox as well. Fernando Cruz issuing the walk to lose it for the Yankees. Then the Cubs would win 4-2 over the Cardinals in 10 innings. Alex Bregman with the go-ahead game-winning run there for the Cubbies. So they would win 3 of 4 against the Cardinals. The Braves would start up a series against their division rival Nationals, winning 5-4. They would come back and win it there. Start of a 4-game series as well between those two teams. Another NL East divisional matchup, the Mets would win 4-2 over the Marlins, starting a 4-game series there between those two division rivals. Luis Robert Jr. with a 2-run single to eventually win it there for New York. Actually, did not realize Luis Robert is on the Mets. I kind of forgot about that, given how poorly the Mets have played this season. But Devin Williams got a 16th save, so there's that. Another divisional matchup, the Reds and the Pirates would go at it, with the Reds winning 3-2. Ellie De La Cruz with the, walk-off scoring on a fielder's choice in the bottom of the 9th. Actually, I'm curious, just going to deviate here. Brandon Lau grounds into a fielder's choice at shortstop. De La Cruz scored. Stevenson out at second. Stewart to third. Ellie just got home on the fielder's choice. Not sure what happened there, but anyway. Reds win the opener of a 4-game series between those two teams. We get another divisional matchup, the Giants and the Padres going at it. Giants winning this one opener of a 4-game series, winning that one 4-1 over San Diego. And Daniel Susac with a 2-run home run there for San Francisco. Then last but not least, the Dodgers would wrap up their series with the Mariners winning 6-2. Roki Sasaki, his 5th win of the season. Dodgers take that 3-game series with games 2 and 3. Go to Friday, and the start of new series is for everyone except for those couple of divisional matchups in pretty much all the National League as well. The Orioles would start a series against the Phillies. Orioles win this one 6-4. Gunnar Henderson with the game-winning 2-run triple in the 7th inning. Orioles scored 4 in that 7th inning as well. This is a great hit for Gunnar, though he hasn't quite exactly, been consistent after that, but it is still great to see for him. Orioles win that opener there. Tyler Wells, his 4th and last save as a Baltimore Oriole, at least unless he comes back, as he was traded at the deadline. After that, we get the Red Sox winning 9-4 over the Los Angeles Dodgers. Cole Irvin, Cole Irvin's on that Dodgers? Wait, hang on, what? I just realized that. When did he come back to the majors and why is he on the Dodgers? He hasn't pitched in like 3 years, I'm pretty sure. He was on the Twins, but only not in the majors. Last time he pitched was in 2023 for the Orioles. What? Okay. He's on the Dodgers now as a starter, I guess. Pitched 6 innings, 8 hits, 6 runs, all earned. 3 walks, 5 strikeouts. All right, sure. I did not know that was a thing. Anyway, that just took me out. Cedar Rafael with a 2-run home run and a 5-run 7th inning there for the Red Sox. Brian Bayo got his 3rd win of the season there for Boston, as they have been, again, on a roll. Dodgers actually starting to slump a little bit over these past 2 games. Starting right here. Yankees would win 2-0 over the Cubs. Will Warren with a great outing there for New York. David Bednar, save number 23. Ahmed Rosario and Spencer Jones with home runs in the game. Reds would win 8-7 over the Pirates. Sal Stewart with a 2-run home run, 4 RBIs. Was this a walk-off? Not a walk-off. They would score 3 in the 8th. Okay. Hold on to win. Yeah. Anyway, this was the Reds winning 2 in a row against Pittsburgh. Blue Jays would win 3-1 over the Cardinals. Luis Arias with the game-winning or the tie-breaking RBI single there, 2-run single for the Blue Jays in the 8th inning. Jeff Hoffman with his 6th win of the season, probably his last as well as a Blue Jay because he got traded. This is start of series. D-backs would win 4-1 over the Guardians. Geraldo Perdomo and Gabriel Moreno with RBI singles there for Arizona. Tanner Bybee, his 11th loss of the season for Cleveland. White Sox would win 6-1 over the Rays. 4 home runs for Chicago. Nick Martinez, his 3rd loss of the season. Still pitching very well, but it's been not quite as good over the past month and a half compared to the early start. Marlins would win 5-2 over the Mets, so they would even up that series there against their division rival. Jacob Marcy and Kyle Stowers with some good performances there for Miami. Miami also got back over 500 at that point. Braves would win 6-2 over the Nationals with a couple home runs from Michael Harris and Matt Olson. Foster Griffin, his 3rd loss of the season. I actually had both Nick Martinez and Foster Griffin on my fantasy team, so they did not have a good time that day. Astros win 11-2 over their division rival Rangers. Astros got above 500 after this one. Yainer Diaz with a home run and 4 hits in the game. Start of series between those division rivals. Rockies wins 3-1 over the Royals. Tommy Castellano, his 11th win of the season. Michael Wacha, his 8th loss of the season. Jordan Romano, his 9th save. I saw a stat earlier where Jordan Romano has, it was something along the lines of Jordan Romano leads both the Angels and the Rockies this year in saves, and right now he has like under 10 for both teams. Like he has 8 for, or he might have even have like 6 for LA, and then he has 9, maybe 10 right now for Colorado. It's kind of crazy. Anyway, the Brewers, speaking of the Angels, actually they would win 6-2 over the Angels. Bryce Terang and Jake Bauers with home runs in the game. Tigers, in the meantime, would win 13-1 over the Athletics. Dylan Dingerlet with a grand slam in the game. He's been having a great season there for Detroit. Jeffrey Springs loss number 11 as well for Sacramento. The Padres, in the meantime, would win 7-0 over the Giants. Jake Cronenworth with, that's also the wrong recap because that Jake Cronenworth single gives Padres 6-5 win over the Giants after Miller blows save. That would be the next game, actually. But that was not this one. 2 hits for the Giants in this one. No runs. 12 hits for the Padres in that one. Then finally for Friday, the Twins would win 5-3 over the Mariners. Royce Lewis with the game-tying home run in the 7th inning for Minnesota as they got over 500 after that one. Mariners kind of floundering a little bit. They would actually kind of sell at the deadline for the most part. They didn't do too much, but I felt like they sold a little bit. Anyway, we go to Saturday, and the Phillies winning 5-0 over the Orioles. Christopher Sanchez with 11 strikeouts on the season. Shane Baz got his 10th loss, but it's like he still only has a 3.86 ERA, and he just never gets any run support. I feel so bad for Shane Baz because the 4-10 record is not emblematic of how he's actually been pitching. He's been pitching a lot better than that. He just never gets any run support for some reason. I don't know why. I mean, obviously this time we're facing Christopher Sanchez, and he's one of the best pitchers in baseball right now, but it's still unfortunate for Baz that he just gets no help from his team. It's very unfortunate. Anyway, the Phillies would obviously even up the series there. In the meantime, the Red Sox would win 2 in a row over the Dodgers, winning 3-2. Cedar Rafaela with 2 home runs in the game. Andrew Monastero with a ground rule double to lead off the eighth and scored, according to the recap as well. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, his 7th loss of the season there, as Red Sox, despite being out, giving up 6 more hits than they had. They had 4 hits. Dodgers had 10. They would win 3-2. It's kind of what the Orioles did today, actually, against the Angels. The Blue Jays, in the meantime, would win 5-1 over the Cardinals. Kevin Gausman, in what would be his final start as a Toronto Blue Jay, would get his 5th win of the season. So the Blue Jays would win 2 in a row over St. Louis. The Rays, in the meantime, would win 1-0 over the White Sox. Drew Rasmussen with a good performance there. Brian Baker saved number 31 on the season after that one. The Marlins would take a lead in the series, winning Game 3, 6-2 over the Mets. So they would have a 2-1 series lead there. Javier Sanoa and Griffin Conning had homers in the game there for Miami. The Mariners would win 4-3 over the Twins. Randy Rosarena scoring in the bottom of the 9th on a Cal Raleigh groundout to win it there for Seattle, as they would even up the series against Minnesota. I always like saying it like that. It's kind of I think what the accent goes like, but actually I've never been up there before. I know it is very cold in Minnesota a lot, like really, really cold. Anyway, the Pirates would win 4-1 over the Reds. They would win Game 3 of that series after dropping the first 2, snapping a 4-game losing streak there. Gregory Soto, save number 14 on the season. Braxton Ashcraft, win number 11 as well. The Astros would win 5-4 over the Rangers. Curious if this was a walk-off. It was not. Actually, not even close. All the runs were scored pretty early. But yeah, Astros would get 2 games over 500 after that one, winning 2 in a row against Texas as well. Diamondbacks would win 12-8 over the Guardians. Geraldo Perdomo and Corbin Carroll with a homer in a 7-run 7th inning there for the D-backs, as they would win 2 in a row over Cleveland. The Braves would win 8-3 over the Nationals. Martin Perez with a no-hitter through up until the 7th inning, then did not have a no-hitter after that, but still pitched very well. This was the Braves winning 3 in a row against the Nationals. The Cubs would win 5-2 over the Yankees. Peter Armstrong with the go-ahead 7th inning triple for the Cubs. They would even up the series against New York. Rockies would win 12-6 over the Royals. Hunter Goodman with 2 home runs in the game to win it there for Colorado. They would win 2 in a row against Kansas City. Both of them bottom feeders at the moment. Padres would win 6-5 over the Giants. Jake Cronenworth with the RBI single, 2 outs in the 9th inning there to, I guess, walk it off. Yeah, walk it off for San Diego in that divisional matchup. So that was San Diego taking Game 3, winning Games 2 and 3 at that point with 1 to go. Brewers would win 3-1 over the Angels, winning 2 in a row there. Bryce Terang with a go-ahead RBI single in the 8th inning there for Milwaukee as they got to 69 wins. It's actually the same amount of wins as the Dodgers, so I think they're actually tied for most wins out of any team. Then last but not least, the Tigers would win 8-6 over the A's, winning 2 in a row over the Athletics. Max Clark with his first career home run on his 2nd game as a major leaguer. Kenley Jansen, his 13th save. Framber Valdez, his 6th win of the season there for Detroit. We go to Sunday, and the Phillies winning 8-0 on an early exit, as this game was rained out after 6 innings, though by this point it was kind of agreed upon that the Phillies were going to win this. O's were not playing well at all on either side. Kyle Bradish got hit with his 10th loss of the season, though he's still pitching very well overall. This was just not his night. Phillies played a very good series as a whole, and they would win games 2 and 3. After that, we go to the Red Sox sweeping the Dodgers, winning 8-4 here. Cedar Rafaela with a home run in 3 straight games, as the Red Sox continued to just be absolutely red hot. They got to 60 wins on the season as well. As they've gone like 24, they've won like 24 of their last 27 or something like that. It's just absolutely absurd how good the Red Sox have been as of late. I don't know. It's crazy. Anyway, the Braves would sweep the Nationals in 4, winning 4-2 here as they got to 67 wins, actually approaching the Dodgers and Brewers. Mike Yastrzemski with a home run, and Matt Olson homered in the game. Cade Cavalli, his 5th loss. Raisel Iglesias, his 24th save of the season there for Atlanta. Cardinals would win 5-1 over the Blue Jays, so they would avoid the sweep. Jose Fermin with the tie-breaking single in the 9th inning for St. Louis. Louis Varland would blow the save, and the Cardinals would blow it wide open with a 4-run 9th inning. Guardians avoid the sweep over the Diamondbacks, winning 5-0. Gavin Williams, 1 hit, strikes out 10 over 5 2/3 innings. Guardians would only allow 1 more hit total in the game, so they would only allow 2 hits as a team. Very good performance there from the Guardians pitching staff. They got above 500 again after that one. White Sox would win 9-1 over the Rays. Anthony Kay, his 8th win of the season after going 6 1/3 scoreless. Griffin Jax, his 9th loss, as the White Sox would win games 1 and 3 of that series. Taking it over Tampa Bay, the Marlins would win 2-0 over the Mets, so they would rally to take back that series, winning games 2, 3, and 4. Sandy Alcantara win number 12 on the season as a starter. Pete Fairbanks also got his 17th save. The Reds would win 10-2 over the Pirates. They would take 3 of 4 from their division rival. Chase Burns, his 13th win of the season. Astros would sweep the Rangers, winning 7-5 there. Yordan Alvarez with 4 hits on the night as he continues to, it might have actually been the day, but 4 hits in the game continues to just be absolutely absurd. Astros firmly in control of their division at the moment because they've been playing very well. Yankees would win 2-1 over the Cubs, so they would take that game, or that series, winning games 1 and 3. Jose Caballero with a 2-run home run in the some inning. Anyway, I was about to say 6th inning, but that was actually how far Garrett Cole pitched into the game. But he got his 5th win of the season there for New York. Rockies would sweep the Royals, winning 8-1 in a very hot day over in Colorado, apparently. Kyle Freeland got his 3rd win of the season for Colorado. Seth Lugo lost number 7. Angels would win 3-0 over the Brewers. Walbert Urania with a 3-hit night or day, I don't know. Pitched well. 7th win of the season. So the Angels would avoid the sweep there. Tigers would sweep the A's, winning 11-0. So they would absolutely demolish the A's in the series. Cater Montero, his 8th win of the season. Obviously did not give up a run. Tigers actually playing well in the month of July, though they would still sell at the deadline because they just did not get off to a good start at all. They're still, at that point, 4 games under 500. The Mariners would win 7-6 over the Twins, walking it off with a Colt Emerson RBI single to win it over Minnesota and win the series over Minnesota as well, as they would win games 2 and 3. Last but not least, the Padres would win 5-4 over the Giants. Jackson Merrill with a 2-run home run in the game, as they would win games 2, 3, and 4 over their division rival. We go to Monday, and not a full slate of games as per usual. The Nats and the Phillies would start up a division series, with the Phillies winning 6-3. Phillies been on a good stretch as of late. They got to 60 wins as well. They won 4 in a row. That includes today as well. Cardinals, in the meantime, would win 13-7 over the Yankees. This is also on trade deadline day. Yankees actually took they went down, I believe, 6-0, or very early in the game. Cam Schlittler, I believe, actually pitched in this one and did not pitch well at all. Yeah, he only pitched 3 innings, gave up 4 earned runs. Then the Cardinals put up another 2. Alec Burleson with a 3 home run night. Certainly helped my fantasy team. But then so it was actually 7-6 Yankees. They would score 7 unanswered, including a home run from Luis Garcia Jr., who got traded to the Yankees in his first career game as a New York Yankee. Though the Yankees bullpen then blew it and gave up a lot unanswered. They gave up, 7 unanswered? Or 8 unanswered? No, 7 unanswered. 7 and 6 is 13. I can do math. Yeah, they would give up 7 unanswered to the... So it was 6 unanswered by the Cardinals, then 7 unanswered by the Yankees, then another 7 unanswered by the Cardinals in that one. Very crazy game right there. The Pirates would win 4-3 over the Brewers. Bubba Chandler, his 4th win of the season. I don't have any recaps anymore, so this is full steam on ahead. Giants would win 5-1 over the Rangers. Rangers have been skidding a good bit as of late. Cubs would win 10-5 over the Dodgers. Justin Robleski pitched very poorly. I had him on a fantasy team. I was not happy about that. Matthew Boyd, his 7th win of the season, though he didn't pitch super well. The Cubs offense played very, very well. Then I was watching that one because I was facing Matthew Boyd in fantasy, so I was like a little invested in that game. But anyway, the Blue Jays would win 3-1 over the Astros. Tyler Rogers got his 3rd save of the season. I think because Louis Varland was just used too much. Shane Bieber also got his 3rd win of the season. 10 hits for the Astros, by the way, only 1 run. Rays would win 13-9 over the Rockies. Ian Seymour, his 8th win of the season. Both teams with 15 hits as well. Then last but not least, the Diamondbacks would win 5-1 over their division rival Padres. Brandon Pfaadt, his 6th win of the season. Then we go to today, again, technically yesterday, as this is now Wednesday morning, but the most recent day of baseball. And so we start off with the Orioles winning 3-1 over the Los Angeles Angels. There's actually a good amount of stories in this one. Cade Povich returned from AAA. He got called back up and actually pitched 6 scoreless innings. He pitched very well, all things considered. Did give up a lot of hits, but did not give up a run. Grayson Rodriguez was also the pitcher for the Angels. This is his return to Baltimore after being traded away. Though did not get to face the guy they traded... the Angels traded to Baltimore, as Taylor Ward had been traded at the deadline to Seattle the day before. And Rodriguez actually pitched very well. He was the losing pitcher because he did give up 2 runs in the 3rd or 4th inning, one of the 2. I think it was 3rd inning. That would wind up being enough. But overall pitched very well. Actually pitched his first quality start on the season. Pitched into the 7th inning for the first time since, I think, 2024. So hey, he's back in Baltimore for a day. He gets to pitch well for once. But the Orioles pitching staff as a whole was great at stranding runners. Angels had 11 hits, only 1 run. Orioles 3 runs on 4 hits. Tyler O'Neill actually had a pinch hit home run this game, though it didn't really matter. Since that made it score wise, it didn't matter because that was the 3rd run. Pete Alonso had the 2 RBI or the 2 run singles, I think is what he hit. Might have been a double actually. But yeah, it's still good for Tio. Anyway, the Red Sox would win 14-2 over the White Sox. No Adley Rutschman yet. He's still in the IL, but the Red Sox just destroyed the White Sox here. I think Willie Abreu had 2 home runs in the game. It was crazy. Very, very crazy. I was watching an MLB big inning for this, so I kept up with a little bit with some of these games. The Reds would win 5-4 over the Athletics. This was a very, very poor showing by Hogan Harris as he threw or allowed, I believe, 2 runners to score on wild pitches in the bottom of the 8th inning. Wound up giving up the game tying and eventual game losing run in the bottom of the 8th on wild pitches from Hogan Harris there. I think it was his 2nd and 3rd wild pitches of the year or something like that. It was crazy. But the Reds would win it there in the start of a series. Hang on. Was this the start of a series? Yeah, start of a series between those 2 teams. The Mets would win 6-2 over the Guardians in a kind of unnotable game. It's just kind of there. But yeah, start of a series between those 2 teams. Certainly helps the Orioles with their playoff odds because they need a lot of these AL teams to lose. Phillies would win 5-0 over the Nationals. Jesus Luzardo with, I believe, pitched into the 8th inning, pitched 8 scoreless. And Phillies dominated their Nationals on a bit of a losing streak as of late. They're actually a pretty big losing streak. They've lost 7 in a row after losing 2 in a row to Philly, 4 to Atlanta, and then 1 to Toronto. Yankees would win 2-0 over the Cardinals. Cardinals almost had a chance to score some runs in the 8th inning. They had bases loaded, but David Bednar came in for a 4-out save and got it done. Ryan Weathers, his 5th win of the season there for New York. Braves win 4-2 over the Marlins. Grant Holmes, his 7th win of the season. And I believe, was it the start of a series? Yes, the start of a series between these two teams. Braves have been on a roll as of late. And they are 68 wins now on the season. Royals win 8-2 over the Twins. They just play very well the whole time around. Royals playing actually, never mind. They stopped a 4-game losing streak. That's what I was thinking about. Brewers got to 70 wins. Fastest ever in franchise history that they got to 70 wins, I saw on the stat line. And I believe also the first team this year to get to 70 wins. The Dodgers still stuck at 69 wins. Brewers beat the Pirates 4-2 here. They would even up the series against Pittsburgh. And then speaking of the Dodgers, they would lose 5-1. This is the first start as a Dodger for Tarek Skubal. Spoilers, this is where he got traded to. Didn't actually pitch too bad. Did get hit with a loss, but I believe he only gave up 2 runs. Gave up a Dansby Swanson home run. Then it was an RBI double by Alex Bregman, I think, if I remember correctly from a couple hours ago. But yeah, Cubs win that one there. Their pitching staff did a good job. Dodgers offense could not do much. Rangers, in the meantime, would win 5-4 over the Giants on a walk-off. Walk-off, technically I think it was a single, but it was a shot into right field, and Jung-Hoo Lee was out there and just got completely turned around and whiffed on the out chance that would have sent it to extra innings. Jacob Latz, who blew the save, still gets credit with a win here. It was a very embarrassing defensive performance there at the end by Jung-Hoo Lee. Dylan Smith got hit with a loss, but that one, not really his fault there. The Astros, in the meantime, I guess were they not. Hang on, I'm just looking. Is this a full slate of games? Actually, I think it was. Anyway, Astros would win 7-2 over the Blue Jays. I think Blue Jays were leading this one early on. Never mind, they were not. Or they tied it up in the 5th, but then Trammell, what's your first name? Actually, don't know what your first name is. Taylor Trammell hit a 3-run home run in the bottom of the 6th inning, I think is what it was, to blow the game open. Astros continue to win. They would win, actually even up the series because they lost the one before. But as a whole, they've been, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. They've won 12 of the last 14, have the Houston Astros, after getting swept by the Orioles coming out of the All-Star break. So it's been good for Houston as a whole. The Rays would beat the Rockies in 11 innings, winning 9-7. Brian Baker saved number 32 after having to come on in the 11th. They had actually they came back. This is a pretty eventful one, as Liam Hicks, who had been traded to the Rays, hit a grand slam in this game to put the Rays up 5-1. Then the Rockies wound up coming back. They actually tied it up. Rays go up 5-1 in the top of the 3rd. Immediately give up the run. Freddie Peralta, who had also got traded to the Rays, was starting here. Gives up 4 in the bottom of the 3rd against Colorado. So it's 5-5, then 2 in the bottom of the 4th on a Willie Castro 2-run home run. Rockies take the lead 7-5. They then give up 2 in the top of the 9th. Jordan Romano, I believe, was the pitcher. He blows, I believe, his first save as a Colorado Rocky. So they take it to extras. Rockies can't do anything in the bottom of the 10th or the 11th. Rays put up 2 in the top of the 11th and win it 9-7 there. Interesting game. Very interesting game. Tigers now without Tarek Skubal, they would win 8-0 over the Mariners. They just destroyed Emerson Hancock, who I unfortunately picked up in this one. He still had like 7 or 8 points, or maybe like 4 or 5 because I think he's a losing pitcher, but unfortunate there. I thought he was going to do more. And then last but not least, Tigers also won 4 in a row, by the way. Last but not least, the Padres would win 9-4 over the Diamondbacks. Eduardo Rodriguez actually got knocked around a ton in this one. I had alluded to that earlier. But yeah, Padres even up the series there. They've been actually on a bit of a roll as of late. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, 10, 11. They've won 9 of their last 11. Has San Diego. They are now 59 and 55. Diamondbacks 60 and 54. So both those teams actually very, very close in the standings there over in the NL West. So speaking of standings, we'll go to the standings. So we'll do this, stats, and then trade deadline. So the Tampa Bay Rays still lead the AL East and all of the American League at 67 and 46. Yankees 3.5 back at 64 and 50. Red Sox now 5.5 back, just 5.5 back at 61 and 51. They are inching ever so closer to the Yankees and the Rays, both of them actually. They're playing again extremely well, 8-2 in their last 10. Just ridiculous how well they're playing. Orioles, in the meantime, are 12 back at 55 and 58. And then Blue Jays are 14.5 back at 53 and 61. The White Sox, in the meantime, are leading the AL Central at 59 and 53. Guardians 3 back at 57 and 57. Twins 4 back at 56 and 58. Tigers 4.5 back at 58 and 55. And then the Royals 13 back at 47 and 67. Over in the AL West, it is now Houston's division to claim as they are 59 and 56. Rangers 2.5 back at 56 and 58. Mariners 3.5 back at 55 and 59. A's 13 back at 48 and 68, 45 and 68. And the Angels 15 back at 43 and 70. They are Los Angeles Angels are the first team to 70 losses on the season. Over in the National League, the NL East is still being led by the Braves. They're at 68 and 45. Phillies 7.5 back at 61 and 53. Marlins 10.5 back at 58 and 56. Nationals 14 back at 55 and 60. They've lost 7 in a row. Mets 20.5 back at 48 and 66. The Brewers still hold the lead in the NL Central and the lead in all of baseball in terms of record now at 70 and 43. Cubs 5.5 back at 65 and 49. Pirates 14 back at 57 and 58. Cardinals 14.5 back at 56 and 58. They are 3 and 7 in the last 10. Reds 15.5 back at 54 and 58. So all three of those teams, Pirates, Cardinals, and Reds, 58 losses. Just a few more games played for some of these teams, and all those games going in the win category. The NL West is still being led by the Dodgers at 69 and 45, though they've lost their last 5 in a row. Diamondbacks 9 back at 60 and 54. Padres 10 back at 59 and 55. Giants 21 back at 48 and 66. And then the Rockies 24 back at 45 and 69. Also, wildcard standings, just to kind of start to talk about those a little bit because we're getting pretty close. The AL wildcard top team is the Yankees. They're +7 up. Red Sox have the second wild card, 5 games up. Guardians are currently in the slot for the third wild card spot. The Twins and the Rangers are are 1 game back. Orioles and Tigers 1.5 games back. Mariners 2 back. Blue Jays 4 back. Those are the teams still kind of in contention at the moment. Royals, Athletics, Angels nowhere close. The National League wild card is being led by the Cubs at the moment. They're 5 up. Phillies 1 up on this in the second wildcard spot at the moment. Diamondbacks currently hold the third wildcard spot. Padres 1 game back. Marlins 2 back. Pirates 3.5 back. Cardinals 4 back. Reds 5 back. Nats 5.5 back. And then the Mets and Giants are 12 games back, and the Rockies 15 back. So for teams you can probably eliminate now, the Royals, Athletics, Angels, Mets, Giants, and Rockies are almost for sure not going to be making the playoffs this year. Actually don't know if they have don't think they have a playoff percentage indicator at the moment, but it's not looking good for any of those guys. Anyways, individual stats. Batting average, it is still actually now being led by Yordan Alvarez. I believe he was not earlier, but he is leading it now at 329. Luis Arraez second at 325. Otto Lopez third at 323. Freddie Freeman at 310. I almost said Freddie Freeman, but that is a very different player. But no, Freddie Freeman batting 310. Nick Gonzalez batting 306. Home runs, it is Yordan Alvarez with 35. Kyle Schwarber 33. Hunter Goodman also 33. Junior Caminero 32. Matt Olson 31. RBIs, it is Sal Stewart at 86, CJ Abrams 85, Yordan Alvarez 84, Jordan Walker 81, Luis Garcia Jr. 78. Hits, it is Otto Lopez with 142, Luis Arraez 138, Yordan Alvarez 135, Freddie Freeman 130, Yandy Diaz 127. Stolen bases, it is Nasim Nunez with 40, Jazz Chisholm with 30, Bobby Witt Jr. also with 30, Chandler Simpson 29, Peaker Armstrong 28. Pitching leaders for these base stats. Wins, it is Christopher Sanchez with 14, Chase Burns, Sonny Gray with 13, Sandy Alcantara, Foster Griffin, and some others, I assume, with 12. ERA is Jacob Mizorowski at 1.63, Chris Sale 2.08, Cam Schlittler 2.26, Chase Burns 2.35, Dylan Cease 2.41. Saves, it is now Brian Baker leading the league with 32, Cade Smith 30, Mason Miller 28, Aroldis Chapman 27, Riley O'Brien 26. Strikeouts, it is still The Miz at 195, Gavin Williams 178, Dylan Cease 174, Cam Schlittler 171, Christopher Sanchez 168. Quality starts, it is Sandy Alcantara 17, Christopher Sanchez and Yoshinori Yamamoto 16, Michael Walker with 15, Eduardo Rodriguez 14. And then just for some other stats real quick before we get to the trades. The batting leaders for on-base percentage, or on-base plus slugging, I should say. Yordan Alvarez still batting over 1,000 OPS, 1,087. Juan Soto second at 974. Shohei Ohtani third at 938. Most strikeouts, it is Kyle Schwarber at 165, Zach Neto 156, James Wood 153. Most walks, it is James Wood at 90, Taylor Ward 87, Yordan Alvarez 80. Most doubles, it is Otto Lopez 29, Matt Olson 28, Santon Rafaela also 28. Then a lot of guys at 27, including Freddie Freeman, Brandon Nimmo, Rafael Devers, Ernie Clement, and Alec Burleson. Most triples, it is still Corbin Carroll, now I believe still at 12. I think that was the same as last week. And then Luis Arraez, Jake McCarthy, Otto Lopez, and Peaker Armstrong all at 7. War leaders, it is Peaker Armstrong at 6.8, wins above replacement, Kevin McGonigal and Yordan Alvarez at 5.4, and then Santon Rafaela at 5.3. Pitching stuff, we go to most losses on the season. Jeffrey Springs and Tanner Bybee at 11. Most holds, it is Dylan Lee at 24, Tyler Rogers 23, Kevin Kelly 22. Most innings pitched, it is Sandy Alcantara at 156 and 2/3 innings, Christopher Sanchez 144 and 2/3 innings, Cam Schlittler 139 and 2/3 innings. Most earned runs given up, Michael Lorenzen 83, Kyle Freeland 82, Aaron Nola and Jeffrey Springs 74. Most home runs given up, it is Aaron Nola 28, Jeffrey Springs also 28, Miles Mikolas 26, James Taillon and Zach Littell 25. Most walks issued, it is Bubba Chandler at 61, Andrew Abbott 59, Robbie Ray and Jose Soriano 57. War leaders, it is Christopher Sanchez at 5.9, Jacob Mizorowski and Zach Wheeler 4.8, Chase Burns, Eduardo Rodriguez, Dylan Cease, and Cam Schlittler at 4.5 wins above replacement. Now we go to the trade deadline. And I'm basically going to go from like kind of trades that happened the week before, because there's a couple, and then cruising into the actual deadline itself. And I think I covered the Curtis Mead trade, but if I didn't, just in case, I feel like I did, but again, just if I didn't, the Red Sox traded Connolly Early, left-handed pitcher, starter for them on occasion, young guy, to Washington Nationals for Curtis Mead, infielder, shortstop guy, but he got his hand fractured after being hit with a pitch on his hand by the A's back in his first game. I'm pretty sure I covered that, but yeah, just as a refresher, that was like the one big early trade. After this, I'm just going to be going down the list. So the next day, so this is back on July 26th, so last Sunday. The Pirates traded away Jose Urquidy to the White Sox in exchange for Felix Doroteo. I don't know if he's a minor leaguer or not. I'm actually using TSN because they have a nice format for their trade tracker. Also on the 26th, the Cardinals traded away Scott Bluett. They also misspelled his name to the A's for cash considerations. Former Oriole reliever, actually remember Scott Bluett. And ironic name because, Blewett, but it's pronounced Bluett from what I remember. Another cash considerations trade involving the Orioles, actually. This is on the 27th. The Orioles traded away Jonathan Rodriguez, outfielder that played for them a couple games, to the Pirates, again for cash. Then we get to July 29th, which was last Wednesday, so a week ago kind of at this point. Although this was Wednesday night. But anyway, the Rangers would trade away Angel Arredondo, I think that's how you might pronounce it, to the Angels in exchange for Logan O'Hoppe and Chase Silseth, which is a little big because O'Hoppe is like one of those prospects that the Angels had that was like kind of big a little while ago. That he's had a terrible season this year, but just like a little like, okay, now we're starting to move. July 30th, we had the Tigers DFAing catcher Jake Rogers that the Orioles wind up trading for him, sending over Zane Barnhart to believe he's a minor league pitcher, maybe. I don't know. Minor league guy, just kind of a know-nothing trade. The Twins would trade for AJ Minter on that day as well from the Mets, trading over Billy Amick and Bruin Agbayani. I assume both those guys are minor leaguers. But AJ Minter, I believe, is a relief pitcher. Twins also would trade for Dean Kramer from the Orioles. The Orioles would get Jomnardo Reyes, or it might be Jomnardo. I don't know if it's silent J or not, but he's a minor league outfielder, I believe. But the final piece from the Manny Machado trade that the Orioles made back in the day is now gone. The Guardians, in the meantime, on August 1st, that Kramer trade was also on August 1st. That was the 2 days before the trade deadline. Guardians would trade away Bo Naylor and Cody Hewer to the Brewers in exchange for Craig Yoho and Blake Perkins. So Bo Naylor, who had been decent for Cleveland for a bit, but was not this year at all, gets sent away there to Milwaukee. Also on August 1st, the Pirates would acquire Camilo Doval from the Yankees, who was a trade deadline acquisition for them from the Giants last year for, I believe, both minor leaguers, Luis Cruz and Omar Alfonso. But the Yankees banishing Doval for being absolutely terrible for them. They get rid of him there. Next up, the Braves would trade for Lane Thomas and Bailey Falter from the Royals in exchange for Carter Holton and Lucas Braun. I honestly don't really know any of those guys. I feel like I've heard of Bailey Falter, but I don't know for sure. I might be thinking of Bailey Ober, but I'm not sure. Anyway, this is a pretty big one. The Mariners traded away Luis Castillo to the White Sox in exchange for Sir Anthony Dominguez, Nolan Jones, and Boston Smith. I obviously know who Sir Anthony Dominguez was. He's actually the White Sox closer for a good bit this year, though did not exactly pitch well for them, but was an Orioles reliever for like 2024. It was a trade deadline acquisition in 2024 from the Phillies by the Orioles, then was traded away at the deadline to the Blue Jays, I believe, last year. Then signed with the White Sox this past season, and is now, or signed with the signed with the White Sox, now on the Mariners. Then also, I believe, his debuted today and pitched very poorly. But then there was the big one, the big one, and it was Tarek Skubal going to the Dodgers from the Tigers. This is also on August 1st. And Tigers got back 3, I guess, top 100 prospects. I don't know if they're all top 100, but all minor leaguers, Zier Hope, River Ryan, and Brady Smith. I know River Ryan is like the kind of the big one of that trade, but felt like the Tigers could have gotten a lot more out of this, but maybe just because Skubal's a rental, I don't know. It just felt like they could have gotten a little bit more. Then we also had a pretty big trade the next day on August 2nd. This is also the Freddie Peralta trade. We had a couple big trades, but yeah. Freddie Peralta got dealt from the Mets to the Rays. Rays give up Aiden Smith, Emilian Petrie, and Gary Gill Hill. That's a great name. All minor leaguers there for Peralta. Then the Cubs would trade away Chamus and Tyon and cash considerations to the Blue Jays in exchange for either a player to be named later or cash considerations, one of the two. So just kind of dumping off Tyon to Toronto. Then the Yankees would trade for Luis Garcia Jr. from the Nationals, giving up Ben Grable, Giovanni Cruz, Jack Selbert, and then Jake Bird. I know Bird was a trade deadline acquisition from the, I want to say the Rockies I actually don't know. I forget where Jake Bird played for, but he was at trade deadline last year by the Yankees. Did not pitch well at all for them either. Also on the 2nd, the Blue Jays were involved in another trade. They would trade away Kevin Gausman to the Cubs. So basically the Cubs and the Blue Jays would wind up flipping Tyon and Gausman for each other, along with some other stuff. But the Blue Jays would get in return for Gausman, Brett Bateman and Southacene. Let's go with that. I assume they're both minor leaguers. For any Cubs fans or Jays fans, you would know better than I about those guys. But then the last trade for August the 2nd was the Giants trading away Tyler Mahle to the Braves in exchange for Anthony Molina. Actually, is Molina a major leaguer? I don't know. Relief pitcher. That's what he is. Log. Seems like he's a big leaguer. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway. Braves get an arm there, though, in Mahle. Then we go to trade deadline day, August 3rd, Monday. Start off with the White Sox acquiring Huascar Brazoban from the Mets, giving away Gabe Davis and Zach Franklin. So the White Sox bolster their bullpen after trading away Sir Anthony Dominguez. Then the Blue Jays made a bit of a weird one by trading for Jose Soriano. I don't really know why, because the Blue Jays are not really in a good position right now, but they acquire a good arm in Soriano, giving away 3 prospects in Arjun Nimala, Eddie Micheletti, and Angel Rivero, giving him over to the Angels. But Soriano was definitely like a guy everyone expected to be traded. I just don't know why the Blue Jays were the one to get him. I don't know. Then we get to a pretty big trade in Luis Arias being traded from San Francisco to Philadelphia. Arias and Caleb Killian, a relief pitcher, actually closed out the game for Philly earlier today. They were acquired in exchange for Ramon Marquez and Marty Geyer. I don't know anything about either of them, but San Francisco gets both of them. Then next up, the Angels would trade away Joe Adell to the Guardians in exchange for, I believe, catcher Jacob Cozart. I think he's a catcher, if I remember correctly. But yeah, Joe Adell's actually had a pretty decent season, it feels like, for the Angels. Gets sent away to the Guardians, who are making a pretty good push at the moment. The Orioles would trade away Taylor Ward to the Mariners, getting back Alex Hoppe, relief pitcher, who I believe is going to be showing up pretty soon to the Orioles bullpen. They also got pitchers Harrison Creeling and Brock Moore down in the minors. Taylor Ward getting traded away was not a surprise at all, because he's on his last year of his deal, so he's going to be in free agent this offseason. And he was just kind of not doing exactly what the Orioles had hoped. They brought him in probably to hit home runs, or I assume they brought him in to hit home runs because he hit 36 last year. He's only at 7 at the moment. Obviously he's walked a lot, but it's kind of been a disappointment. So I'm not too broken up at seeing Taylor Ward go. Obviously it was fun to see the walks, but it was kind of average in the outfield defensively and not very clutch at hitting. After that, the Phillies would acquire Brooks Raley from the Mets, as the Mets kind of had a fire sale at this deadline. So a relief pitcher there for the Phillies. They gave up Luke Gabberish and John Spikerman to the Mets, I assume for the minor league system. The Dodgers would trade for Ben Rortvedt from the Mets as well, giving up Chase McDermott, former Orioles pitcher actually. Chase McDermott, pretty highly touted prospect for them as well, but did not pan out whatsoever. I believe got DFA'd during spring training, then got picked up by the Dodgers for like cash or something, or like a minor league prospect. Obviously did not pitch well at all for them. Even if, I don't even know if he did pitch for the Dodgers at all in the majors, but is now on the New York Mets. The Braves would trade for Brent Sutter from the Angels, giving up Nacho Alvarez Jr. I actually don't really know about either of these guys, but Alvarez is a third baseman, 23-year-old third baseman. Looks like he's not played in the majors. Played in the majors in 2024 from the looks of it, though did not play well at all. He's now on the Angels. Sutter is a relief pitcher, so Braves bolster their bullpen a little bit. Another Blue Jays trade, they would trade away Adam Macko to the Rangers in exchange for Josh Smith and Josh Steffen. So Macko was, I feel like, a pretty decently touted prospect for the Blue Jays pitching-wise from Slovakia, I believe, as well. But is now on Texas. I think this was the Blue Jays selling. I actually don't really know, but I think it was. I assume so. But I don't know what the Blue Jays are doing because, again, that Soriano trade just confuses me a ton. Next up, the White Sox would trade for Brenton Doyle from the Rockies for Mason Adams and Carlos Vielma. Actually, don't know. Brenton Doyle, center fielder for now the White Sox. Former Colorado Rocky, played on them for a while, or from 2023 to this year. Don't know why that doesn't have a link here, but anyway. White Sox get a center fielder there. The Padres would acquire Robbie Ray from their division rival Giants, giving up Miguel Mendez and Joniel Hernandez, so a couple minor leaguers there. Gives them another arm for San Diego. And I don't know if did Robbie Ray pitch today? Has he pitched? Hang on. No, he has not. Last pitch actually was against San Diego back on Thursday when the Giants won 4-1. So next up, we get to the Liam Hicks trade, which I had already talked about, or that it happened. But yeah, Rays got him from the Marlins. They gave up Braden Taylor, Adrian Santana, and Jacob Kisting to Miami there for Liam Hicks. I actually really like that trade there for Tampa Bay because Liam Hicks is really good. Then we get to the biggest trade of the trade deadline, and it was the Adley Rutschman trade. Orioles give Adley Rutschman, Jake Rogers, and cash considerations to the Boston Red Sox in exchange for Anthony Ayanson, Endy Azokar. I should know these names better because they're on the Orioles. But Kyson Witherspoon, Carlos Narvaez, and a player to be named later. Harold Rivas was, I think, initially named, but he's actually not on the deal. But Ayanson, Anthony Ayanson, he's like the now the 49th overall prospect, was the Red Sox like 4th overall prospect. Azokar, I think, was the Red Sox like 5th overall prospect. Like, huge haul for the Orioles, giving up Adley Rutschman, who's still on the IL, by the way. Like, he's coming back soon, but he's been on the IL for like a couple weeks now. But it's still sucks, but the return is actually really good. And the Orioles, like, the amount of highly touted pitchers they have are like actually very like, it's a lot. It's good for them. So it's the future is not grim for the Orioles, but it's still, the present is just a little depressing at the moment. Anyway, after that, the Mets fire sale continued as they would give away or trade away Luke Weaver to the Pirates in exchange for Sammy Staffura. So Mets just kind of trading away everyone. Pirates actually buying a little bit at the deadline, which is good to see for them. The Blue Jays were involved in another trade, trading away Dalton Varsho to the Astros in exchange for Spencer Arrighetti, which is a pretty crazy thing to say. Like, you know, even a couple months ago, like that, A, that the Blue Jays are trading away Dalton Varsho, and B, that the Astros will be trading away Spencer Arrighetti because he started off really, really well for them this season, but kind of fell off a cliff after that and is now in Toronto. The Phillies would acquire Manuel Colon and cash considerations from the Royals in exchange for Nolan Hoffman. Not a very big trade there. Not much going on. The Mets would trade away Clay Holmes and Tyrone Taylor to the Cubs in exchange for Jefferson Rojas, who I believe is a shortstop. But Holmes, who I believe is coming off the IL pretty soon. He might be off it now. I don't know for sure. But the Cubs add another arm to their rotation. And Tyrone Taylor is center fielder as well. So the Cubs buying a lot at the deadline this time around. Small trade here. The Braves would trade away Joey Bart, catcher, to the White Sox in exchange for Duncan DeWitt. So White Sox get a catcher there. I actually don't know who their current catcher is outside of Bart. I guess that's kind of why they wanted a catcher. The Orioles, in the meantime, would trade away Tyler Wells to the Rays in exchange for Michael Ferret. And this is a interesting one because Ferret was actually traded to the Rays in the offseason, in like the 2025-2026 offseason, in a package for Shane Baz. So Baz, who was a Ray, and kind of you can go back a little bit further. Last year's trade deadline, Orioles trade away Brian Baker to the Rays, who's pitching as an all-star now. Orioles got him for a competitive balance pick in the first round in the 2025 draft, which they used on Slater DeBrun. They then packaged DeBrun, Ferret, Caden Bodine, and one other guy that I don't remember the name of for Shane Baz in the offseason. And now they traded away another reliever in Tyler Wells, now getting Michael Ferret back, who is expected to be, I think, called up pretty soon to the starting rotation for the Orioles, because he's pretty highly touted as a pitching prospect. But it's still sad to see Wells go, because was pitching really well for the Orioles this season, and been on the team for a little while there. So I was surprised to happen, but we'll see how Ferret does for the O's. I almost said White Sox now. The Red Sox would acquire Eli White from the Rays for Tyler Uberstein. I was a little surprised at this trade because I feel like Eli White was like decently touted for the Braves, and like he was a pretty good right fielder for them. Very, very fast. Like one of the fastest sprint speeds in all of baseball. But goes now to the Red Sox. After that, we get to a pretty big trade in Heliot Ramos going to the Yankees over from the Giants in exchange for Caden Kent and Henry Lawlins. Lawlane. I added a C in there for no reason. But Ramos adding a bit of pop to the Yankees outfield there. Giants just completely selling off everything. The Cubs, in the meantime, would acquire Braxton Garrett from the Marlins in exchange for Jace Beck and Jonathan Long. So I was surprised at how much Miami sold at this deadline because they're, still playing well, but I don't know. Maybe if they didn't go on that 12-game losing streak, they wouldn't be selling a bunch. But another starting pitcher for the Cubs, who actually did kind of need starting pitching help, so it's not surprising that they bought a lot. The Brewers would acquire Antonio Senzatella from the Rockies in exchange for Mark Manfredi and Juan Martinez. I was very surprised at how little the Brewers actually bought at the deadline. They're the best team in baseball right now. They were not really all that active at the trade deadline. I'm not really sure why. But they get a relief pitcher there for their bullpen. You can never have too many bullpen arms. Bullpen arms are always nice. The Red Sox actually trade away one of their pretty highly touted prospects in Marcelo Meyer to the Giants in exchange for reliever Eric Miller. So Meyer was, they're one of their top prospects, played in the big leagues a little bit, but I guess didn't pan out as well as they'd hoped. He is now in San Francisco. Then we get to another pretty big trade here. We're getting kind of towards the end. I'll try and speed this up a little bit because we're getting towards the end soon. I scrolled down a little bit too much. But there was the Guardians acquiring Foster Griffin from the Nationals in exchange for Josh Hartle, Will Dion, Candeglis, Virguez, I think that's how you pronounce it, and Nick Mitchell. So Nats get a good number of prospects back for a really good pitcher this season in Foster Griffin. Guardians kind of going on an all-in push in this deadline, so it's good for them. The Blue Jays would trade away Jeff Hoffman to the Twins in exchange for John Klein, Dason Hill, and Demuri Pena. So, and Hoffman was very surprised at this trade, but it's he is no longer on the Blue Jays. The Cardinals would trade away Lars Nootbaar to the Diamondbacks in exchange for Daniel Egan, Sandro Santana, and a player to be named later. So Diamondbacks buying there. Guardians would acquire Nathaniel Lowe for Alejandro Rivera from the Reds. So decent power bat there for Cleveland. Marlins would acquire Victor Vodnik from the Rockies in exchange for Connor Norby and Aiden May. Connor Norby, former Oriole, who was traded to the Marlins in exchange for Trevor Rogers, along with Kyle Stowers going to the Marlins, but normally just did not pan out at all for Miami. Pirates would acquire Kirby Yates from the Angels in exchange for Kyle Robinson. So Kirby Yates, I forget if he's a starter or reliever. Is he? He is a reliever. Okay. Now on the Pirates, the Brewers would acquire Dustin May and Jojo Romero from the Cardinals in exchange for Alexander Frias and Josiah Ragsdale. So decent amount of inner division trades in this one. I was a little surprised, but there were a good bit here. I was a little surprised to see how much the Cardinals were selling off, but I also kind of get it because they're just kind of okay this time around. The Pirates would also acquire Lake Backer from the Marlins, giving away Brandon Bidois. Let's go with Bidois. Hyun Seung Lee and Brian Sanchez. I apologize to everyone who I'm just completely butchering their names, by the way. But yeah, Pirates add. They're actually he is a relief pitcher, Lake Backer, there from the Marlins. Dodgers would acquire Hunter Fiducia and Jacob Kmatz from the Rays in exchange for Jack Sawinski and cash considerations. There's also now again pretty much to the end, but yeah, the Padres acquired Casey Mize and Gage Workman from the Tigers in exchange for Cash Mayfield and Jackson Wolf. This one was reported right at the end of the deadline, but the Padres add another arm to their starting rotation. Phillies, that was also the last super big trade as well. But the Phillies acquired Colby Thomas from the A's in exchange for Seth Johnson. Cardinals acquired Caleb Ferguson from the Reds in exchange for cash. Dodgers acquired Chris Bubich from the Royals in exchange for Carlos Duran. Reds acquire Juan Brito from the Guardians in exchange for cash. Angels acquire Moises Ballesteros and Mason McGuire from the Cubs in exchange for Ryan Zephyrdjian. And then last but not least, the Pirates acquired Andrew Moore from the Padres in exchange for Hunter Stratton. I think this is more the Padres buying because Hunter Stratton is a relief pitcher and he also has a profile listed. I'm assuming Andrew Moore is a minor leaguer. Make of the trade deadline what you will. I was surprised. I don't really know what the Braves are doing. They didn't really do much. I don't know why the A's didn't really sell off more. They didn't really do anything. I don't really know why the Yankees didn't do more. They only bought a couple pieces. They didn't do anything to fix their catching or relief, their catcher position or their bullpen. It's interesting, but that's the trade deadline. I'm very sad that Adley Rutschman is gone. So pour one out for me, and for all the sad Orioles fans out there after we won tonight. Anyway, next episode, I will try and get something out this Saturday. I will do my best. I'm probably going to be editing my August recaps for YouTube. I have a YouTube channel, by the way. It is Henry the Host. It is all one word. That's the name, Henry the Host. You can find this podcast there along with lots of various other stuff. But I want to do an episode on something, I don't know what, this Saturday. I was at Otakon this past weekend over in DC. It was super fun, so I was in no shape to record anything. I basically just put all of content creation on a hold this weekend because I was busy having fun and being very exhausted, and also spending a lot of money on merch and stuff. I actually wound up finding Pokemon Violet for $45 at a stand there. It was nice. I've got it for $5 to $10 cheaper than it usually is, so I was happy about that. But yeah, maybe I'll talk about Otakon. I don't know. I didn't do too much there. I just kind of walked around, talk with friends, but it was fun. But yeah, I'll think of something. Otherwise, next week it will be back to just usual baseball. No trade deadline shenanigans. Hopefully the Orioles win some more. Maybe that'll be nice. I don't know. We'll see what happens. For now, though, that is it. Thank you very much for listening.